cast StarCraft here on a daily basis. Every single day we have some StarCraft for you, whether it's the KSL, whether it's ESL Open Cups, whether it's WTL, Kung Fu Cup, our own events that we do host, alongside many others. So consider following if you're interested. Otherwise, we're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Club NV. It is Creator. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing his new team, Talon Esports. It is Dark. Going for a 15-15. Let's go. Not an opener we see too often from Dark, but he does sprinkle it in every now and then. Basically, this is a very safe opener. 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. It does allow you to get your hatchery up and running ahead of time. It does basically mean that this probe that otherwise would have denied your hatchery placement won't be able to, as traditionally a Zerg player will be forced to expand at the third base location, either the linear third or the triangular third. So this is just a really safe way to get your natural up and running undisturbed. The downside here is that you do delay your gases. Your gases are going to be quite late, but very often we do see Zerg players just skip ling speed here in this situation and go straight into roaches. That is a risky thing to do in a ZvP though, so it's just going to be late ling speed here for Dark. It should be late ling speed. So now he's just going to be droning on up. Back at home, Creator just going for a gate expand into the Cybercore, standard opener out of Creator. And of course, he scouts the safe opener as well. The other added benefit here, in a way a benefit for Dark, is it isn't just a faster hatchery, it also means faster queens. So again, you can just be safe against like earlier game aggression. If there was something like a proxy or something like a cannon rush as well, you will be a little bit better prepared against that sort of thing, as the gas is now being prioritized. Yeah, we do have to catch up with that ling speed. Until then, outside of that, you know, everything's looking pretty standard. Pylon has been thrown down. Based on the placement, this looks like a Stargate opener. Usually, if it's Twilight Council, we want to hide the pylon and put it a little bit further back behind the middle line, make it a little bit more difficult to scout. So I imagine that's going to be a Stargate, but we'll see. We'll see if Creator does decide to spice it up a little bit further and go for a Twilight Council instead. Meanwhile, Dark is going to be zoning back that probe. We'll soon be taking a third. There it is, ling speed is on the way for Dark. Does pull out of gas, so he's not committing into a lair or a roach warren or a baleen nest. Just ling speed as we drone up again to a longer game. Meanwhile, that is in fact a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. Creator, what do you have in store for us? I'm ready. I'm excited. It is not going to be a standard opener. We're going for the Robo. Now, this could be one of two things. This could be 4-gate Glaive Adepts, but if it's Glaives, we usually pull out of gas. Oh, speaking of... Okay, it's Glaives. I was like, we usually pull one out of gas each, and we have 2 mining and then 2 mining in the second gas geyser. Glaives should be researched. There it is. If we stayed in gas, it most likely would have been a Dark Shrine. It would have been a DT opener. Or it could even still be Glaives, but if we stayed 3 and 3 with 6 in total, then we would have gone up to additional gateways. Instead of 4-gate Glaive Adepts, could have been 6-gate Glaive Adepts, or Glaives plus DTs. Again, Creator just being as efficient as possible. Pulling out in time. Back at home, Dark taking his third base, droning on up, getting set up here. Still has yet to go for a scout, but I'm sure he did recognize that the warp gate was not delayed, and it is going to be 4-gate Glaives in total. 3 gateways on the way, 4th gateway is done. Just to reiterate, this is not an all-in. Not an all-in by any means. This is a way to get ahead economically and expand behind it. So Creator, he does need to get some economic damage with this, because this is delaying everything else. This is delaying Blink, delaying the Forge, delaying +1, delaying the third base, delaying our economy. It's a pretty big investment here, and if it doesn't deal enough damage across the map, then Creator will fall behind. So high risk, high reward. As Adepts are shading across the map, we can see that Dark is getting ready. He's getting safety spores because he doesn't know it's not DTs. Like, these Adepts, we would still have 4, by the way, if it was Dark Templar. Now the Overlord does confirm additional Adepts on the way. Roach Warren still not quite done yet, but Lings are amassing. Lings are amassing queens. They do push forward first. They engage with the Adepts. They should be able to transfuse. They keep each other alive, but one queen may go down. So we pick off a queen. As we do get forced back. At the same time, Adepts, they shade in or they get warped in towards a third. Nothing to kill here. No workers are active. Dark cutting workers at 38, which is pretty standard here. Pretty safe number to stop at. Queens, they zone the Prism out of the main base as well. We see Creator expanding back at home, and this hasn't been worth it so far. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned for Creator, as he hasn't killed a single drone. Again, he denies mining at the third, and Dark is soon to be getting oversaturated. Oh, he's a little bit supply blocked. Massive link counterattack does hit the third base. Adepts are going down. The base is getting surrounded, and this is what happens when you don't deal enough damage, when you don't trade with the army as the third is denied. Big pick off there by Dark. Again, punishing Creator's build, punishing the fact that he just did not do any damage across the map. And taking this third, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be difficult. Lair is on the way. Roaches are amassing. Evo Chamber for +1 range. And Dark, he can now saturate his third. He's safe. He is safe and sound. Has dealt with the opener of Creator. He could try to come in once again to deny the third, but he doesn't need to. As he's just threading the bases here and droning up. Now, what are we working on? We're working on a Baneling Nest, which is interesting. That tells us that, yep, it's going to be +1 melee. So it's going to be Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager as an army composition. Very solid choice here from Dark. And he should be feeling pretty comfortable. If Dark wanted to, he could set up for a 3-base all-in. I don't think he needs to. A 3-base all-in would be around 66 drones. Like, sub 70 workers, you cut saturation. You get a 4th base just for lava, and you just send it across the map. I'm sure Dark does smell weakness here. Does recognize how vulnerable Creator is. Did get into Immortal production behind this. Warped in a massive wave of Adepts. Creator is going to be pushing. But Dark, he has an army. There it is. Banelings are on the way. Roaches are amassing. Dark, he saw this coming ahead of time. And Creator, he is committed, by the way. Initially, the Adepts didn't do enough damage. But here, he might have a little bit more success. Shading into the natural. Roaches are amassing. We do end up engaging. Yeah, we commit to the shade. Adepts say shade in, but the Banelings! No! The Banelings are in position. Big connections, and every single Adept goes down. Dark reading Creator so well there, and that was not the shade to commit to. He lost everything. We have Immortals left over, and Dark is going for a big counterattack. He knows that there's nothing left at home to defend. Creator, he has a handful of Stalkers. He has a shield battery. That's not going to be enough. Ay, ay, ay. Again, we see Creator harassing with the Immortals, doing what he can. But that's all he really can do. Again, we have an overcharge. We have a force field. Banelings, they're waddling on in. And GG gets called. The writing is on the wall. And Dark takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. Again, an unfortunate attack there from Creator. Like, he had potential with his Adepts and with his Immortals. Bearing in mind, he was not all in. He was expanding behind it. He was saturating his 3rd base. But we saw that committing to that shade was brutal. The Banelings, they had just finished morphing in, and they happened to be in position as well with that shade. And with that, GG. Dark does take a lead in this series, but it's a best of 3. It's a best of 3. We can bounce back here. I want to believe that Creator can. Again, the thing about game 1 is that we didn't really learn anything. Like, game 1, the build of Creator was very aggressive and not very standard. So, you know, I'm sure we have plenty more builds and plenty of different kind of outlooks in games that Creator can really flex here against Dark. We'll see what he does next. I guess what I'm getting at, we're not going to see 4-gate Glaive Adepts again. Unlikely. Unlikely choice here from Creator. I'm sure we'll see something different. Something that they might have more success with. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Club NV. It is Creator. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent once again going for the 15-15. We have our Blue Zerg player representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. leading the series 1-0. Dark needs one more to advance on to the semifinals. Creator, he has to fight back here and now to force that ace match. Probe gets across the map, rocks up at the natural base, but is really awakened here, really comes across a hatchery. As Dark, he's going to be able to get his base on location, followed by the sporting pool, followed by the late gas. So same opener 2 games in a row. If you're a Zerg player out there, and if you're maybe frustrated with always being forced to expand at your third base location, then a 15-15, you know, that could be the answer that you're looking for. It does mean that you are less aggressive early on. As we did mention earlier, gases are late, so late ling speed. It means that you're a little bit more passive in the early game, at least until ling speed kicks in. That's the downside to it. But if you want to play safely, this is kind of the go-to currently. Players like Raynor and Shin are very fond of it. Raynor and Shin, they do this almost exclusively every game, not just in ZvP, but they do it against Terran and Zerg as well. More often than any other opener. They really like it. Meanwhile, players like Solar, Dark, Serral, they sprinkle it in. They sprinkle it in every now and then, depending on the situation, depending on the map. I mean, we've seen here that Dark has done it 2 games in a row, but I'm sure he just wants to play safely against Creator. Doesn't want to take any chances. Maybe feeling confident, even if he is a little bit behind economically, that as long as he opens up safely, he'll be okay. As Creator going for his Gate Cyber Expand, or Gate Expand to Cybercore. Cybercore is done. Our tech of choice will soon be on the horizon here for Creator. Pylon has been thrown down. Again, we saw 4-gate Glaive Adepts in Game 1. And based on the pylon placement, very similar yet to game number 1, it's another Twilight Council. Now, after what just happened, I don't expect this to be 4-gate Glaives. And the added benefit of a Twilight Council opener is that you can be flexible. We spoke about this earlier. If we don't pull out a gas, we can go into a Dark Shrine, right? We can go into a DT opener. We could go into 6-gate Glaive Adept, something more committed, something more all-in. We can go into like a charge-based all-in, or... Blink isn't really seen here on 2 bases, so that's not really on the table. But we have options. We do have options available here. Ooh, Glaives is started. This looks like 3-gate Glaives. What I mean by that, no Robo. Oh, no, there we go. Never mind. So, if you remember last game, the Robo was thrown down before Glaives started. We have not pulled out a gas. We've not pulled out a gas here, so my eyes are on Creator right now. How many gateways are we going to be committing to? How hard are we going to go with this? So we have 1 gateway done. We have now 2 gates on the way. That's 3 in total. Now we have a 4th gateway. So we could either throw down a 5th and 6th gateway, or we can go into a Dark Shrine alongside this. So my eyes are on Creator here with how we want... There it is! Dark Shrine. It is going to be... Glaives plus DTs from Creator, so we are mixing it up. It looks like Glaives, but it isn't 4-gate Glaives here from Creator. There's a little bit more added to it. As we mentioned, again, I was like trying to piece it together. Like, we haven't pulled out a gas. We have to spend it somewhere. It's on DTs. So both are going to be coming out this time. And even if the initial Glaive Adepts don't do damage, if Dark cuts corners, if he skips the spores, then the DT follow-up, that can wreak havoc. That is also why we saw last game Dark throw down safety spores, and yep, they're on the way now, just because it is not uncommon to mix in DTs, even if you see Adepts. So as a Zerg player, you have to be safe, and you have to throw down the spore. So we have a spore here at the natural, no spore at the third, no spore in the main. Lings, they do try to knock down that front door, and it looks like the Stalker's going to be going down. Good pick up here from Dark. He's going to be cutting workers at 36 a little bit earlier on. If you remember, last game he cut workers at 38. Queens are pushing forward. Roach Warren is finishing up just in time. Roach is going to be on the way. This is a much earlier Roach Warren for Dark compared to last game. So much more prepared. Wings are keeping up. There is an opportunity for DTs to do damage, though. We commit to the Shade. Oh, that was not a good move, as every Adept is going to go down. A bit of a misstep there from Creator. At the same time, DTs are being warped in. We don't have a spore in the main. It is not in position. Lings, can they hold position? Can they keep that spore alive? It looks like they barely can. Oh my god. Can they, though? Another spore comes in from the natural base. We do save the workers. We do save the main. Again, quick moves there out of Dark, forced to recall back home. And Creator's in a rough position. As the dust settles, the Adepts were thrown away. The Adepts didn't do any economic damage, and the DTs, I think they killed one drone. Not even. They didn't even kill a worker. They only traded with Lings, and now Dark has map control. Now Dark has map control with these Lings. He can drone up to his heart's content. He can work towards a 2-base push. Now, what is scarier this game compared to Hecate? Oceanborn has a short rush distance by ground, and Roach Queen all-ins are not unheard of in this matchup, on Oceanborn specifically. The creep is already getting halfway across the map. We're spreading it through the center, so we can see Dark be aggressive as the follow-up. We have Archons moving out. Meanwhile, Dark going to be saturating his third. Queens amassing. Archons, they can trade well, and I love this. We're clearing up all the creep. We do have our Observer. As we deny creep, here comes the big link counterattack, but we have an Archon back at home. We do defend the third base. Creator's third will not be cancelled, not this time. Ooh, and Dark, I assumed would be going into Roaches, but no. That is a fast Hydra den. Okay, so Roach Hydra on the horizon here for Dark. Or Ling Hydra. Overseer's Transfuse is saved. The base is forced... Oh, sorry, the Prism is forced back. And I feel like the game is still very tense at the moment. We have 3 gateways on the way in addition to the 4 that we already have. So 7 gates in total. Sorry, 8 gates in total. It's a lot of gateways. We are taking gases at the third. I was getting ready to call like a 3-base charge all in, but gases are being taken. Creator, I'm sure thinking of a 4th base. Meanwhile, Dark rushing into Ling Hydra. Again, it is a really risky composition. Ling Hydra is ideal against Blink Stalkers. Against +1 Blink Stalkers, like Ling Hydra, they can go to town. Against Charged Archon, it's a little bit more up in the air. I kind of like Creator's army overall, depending on whether or not Dark makes Banelings. If he goes into Baneling production, then he can do well. But we'll see as Creator, he is pushing, by the way. War Prism is coming in to reinforce. We have how many gateways? Yeah, we have the 8 gates behind this, as we did mention. We have not taken a 4th base. Creator, he is committed with this push. We're going in. No forge, no upgrades, no longevity to this army. Creator is all in. He has to end the game here and now with this army, otherwise he will be outscaled. Ooh, the Prism did overextend for a moment. A decent force field here. Archon's getting damage done, but where are the Zealots? The Prism! The Prism, it's so exposed, it does go down. We deny the warp in, and without Zealots, we cannot defend, we cannot protect this army. As the Roach Hydra is slowly breaking through, Archons are going down, the Immortals are exposed. Creator, he has 1,000 minerals. He's warping in back at home, but again, we needed those Zealots on the front lines. As Dark, he does defend, he does force back the army. Dark holding on here with 4 bases, has a good economy behind this. Creator, how do we transition? He is forced to take up 4th base, now on the way. It's so late, but now we have a 4th, 2nd Robo into a bay. Now the downside here is that Creator, he still doesn't have a forge, so 0 upgrades all around for the foreseeable future. But a nice power spike for him is going to be Colossus or Disruptors. Like Disruptors, they don't care, but like it doesn't matter if you have like two Disruptors. Like they're still going to one-shot units. So something like Disruptors and Colossus, they can still benefit you a lot even without upgrades. So we're trying to take up our army at least. Make use of what we have, and there it is. Yeah, Disruptors on the way. That makes the most sense, as they are affected least by upgrades. Meanwhile, DT's coming in. Ooh, drone damage being dealt here. 1 DT at the natural, 1 DT at the 4th. We got 5 drone kills all up here. Not too bad. At the same time, Darky does rock up. He takes down the Prism. Takes down the Prism. Can he deny the base? Can he force a cancel on the 4th base? Looks like he will, as it is cancelled just in time. Dark, he does lose 10 workers back at home, but denying the 4th is huge, as he's containing Creator to 3 bases. Look at how oversaturated he is. You may be looking at the numbers here like, oh, Creator, he's fine. He's got 75 workers. I mean, he's not mining. He's long distance mining even. Oof. So Creator still in a very rough position. Still has not recovered from the failed all-in from the opener. Oh, Nova goes off. Good split. Our second over does connect. Juicy connection on those Hydras. As we collapse on the army. And we deny the fourth. That's all we needed. Dark, he wasn't looking to commit. He wasn't looking to kill. He just cancels the fourth base. Kills 11 probes. Then max off. That's all he has to do. Contain his opponent to 3 bases. That is Dark's win condition. This Creator pushes forward. Forge is done. +1 is on the way. Let's go. We're working on catching up on upgrades. We're getting there. +2 on the way for Dark. Creator pushing forward. Has he rebuilt his War Prism? He has. As that was an adventurous blink. Yeah, brutal blink there from Creator. Decent Nova here on the Hydras. Creator warping in on the front lines. I mean, how many disruptors does he have? 5. That's a pretty hefty disruptor count. We can take a fight. I don't know if we want to, but we can. You can see Dark again. He's checking. He's checking for the 4th base. He has a changeling towards the left, links towards the right. Creator's pretty all in. Again, he needs a 4th desperately. Alas, he cannot expand. Dark is maxing out. Again, Dark is just looking, waiting for the engagement, waiting for the surround. Bailing speed is finishing up so we can incorporate some Bailings. Hive is on the way for Dark as well. He has a relatively low drone count, but again, his opponent's all in. He needs an army. Nova does not connect. Good splits here by Dark. The Novas, they whiff. But that was 2 Novas. We have 2 left. 2 Novas remaining. Now we are down to 1. Again, only 4 disruptors. We have 1 Nova in the chamber. Dark has to be careful. At the same time, again, still no expand. Still all in. But we pick off a disruptor. Very nice catch there from Dark. We're down to 3. 3 disruptors left. Nova goes off. Big connection on some of those Hydras with the Bailings. They roll in. A massive amount of Bailings. They crash into the army. Disruptors, they go down. Chaos is being caused here. Havoc and Dark. He collapses on the army. Takes down Immortals. Takes down Disruptors. 1 Disruptor left. Hot pick up there from Creator, but he will lose everything. GG gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Dark as he does take the series 2-0. Creator with very aggressive builds. Remember, game 1, it was 4 Gate Glaives. Game 2 was 4 Gate Glaives plus DTs. Plus Dark Templar on top of that. Which eventually dealt some damage, but overall, like, Dark shut it all down. He was able to shut down the aggression, maintain his economy, gain control of the game itself. We saw here in game number 2 that Creator was forced into a secondary all-in with his Zealots, but he was missing warp-ins. His Prism died early on, so he could not reinforce. After the first failed all-in from Creator, he was in a really rough spot, and that led into him going into those disruptors. And he had potential. He had potential with those disruptors, but as time was going on, it was getting better and better for Dark. Like, the game was, as time went on, it was working in favor of Dark. They're able to get into Hive Tech, Bailing speed, Bailing tech in general. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. As Creator is eliminated from the tournament and Dark advances on to the semi-finals. 1A Bailings, GG. Fun fact, those Bailings were not A moves. I don't know if you noticed, but it's a little thing that pro Zerg players do is against, not just against Protoss to be fair, but mainly against Protoss, you actually move command the Bailings. So 1M is M move command. But you move command the Bailings forward, which is why you saw them running past the Stalkers and they were just like rolling around. They weren't actually detonating on anything. Just because, fun fact, you actually do more damage that way. If you A move into Stalkers, the amount of surface area that you're able to get with the Baneling is actually less than if you just move command in and you allow the Stalkers to kill your Banelings, because the damage is then increased as they get further in, they get better surface area on Stalkers in general. They just do more damage that way. So, fun fact. The move command, Papi. It's OP. So, GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into the semis. Getting into the semifinals. We have two semifinals ready for us. We have Hero versus Cure and Byun versus Dark. Oh, Papi. Really good matches. We are going to be going on a short break, though. We've reached that halfway mark. We just wrapped up all of our quarterfinals matches. We're going to be going on a short break. You can take this moment to, get some water, stretch your legs, posture check, look away from the monitor, look after yourselves. And in 5 or so minutes, we're going to be back in time for the semis. Okay, take this moment to hydrate your Hydras, stretch your Roaches, tuck in your Tempest, and cuddle your Colossus. We'll be back in a few with the semis. See you then.